Welcome to the Sales Hunter podcast. My name's Mark Hunter. What are we talking about here today? We are talking about, hey, how much is a prospect worth? And should you stay in the game? Let me tell you something. It's a little more complicated than you think. I'm going to walk you through 5 different things that you got to be looking at as to whether or not you want to continue to be calling on a prospect that just won't quite become a customer. Hey, we'll get to it. The show begins right now.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter Podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
You've got that prospect that you want to convert to a customer, but they're just not coming along. Something's not right. And you want to ask yourself, is it worth continuing? Is it worth the trip? When do I cut it off? Let me tell you something. There's several pieces that you got to look at. First of all, you got to make sure that you're not spending time with a prospect if they haven't shared with you what is the intrinsic need that you're going to be able to help them with, and does your value proposition line up with them? All those basic things. I want to get past that, but what I want you to first look at is, what's the lifetime value of this customer worth to you? Now, to put this into perspective, I want you to ask yourself this question: what is the cost of customer acquisition? You see, here's what's very interesting. Many times salespeople don't know how much work does it take? What's my cost of bringing on board the average customer? Because again, I got to frame that up as my metric to begin with. And then I can begin to say, okay, what's the lifetime value of this potential customer? For instance, right now I am prospecting. I have been prospecting for about 15 months now. A significant opportunity that has massive lifetime value. And I'm going to continue to pursue that. I'm going to continue to pursue it. Now, why I'm also continuing to pursue it is because the logo, the customer, has tremendous strategic value to my company. Because if we land this customer, it's going to bring a tremendous seat. So here's another piece you got to look at. What are the strategic benefits? What's the value of adding this customer? There may be a very small customer, but they have a couple of key people working there. They have a couple of key, or they have some customers, or they have connections, or whatever, that, okay, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth trying to land them as a customer, even though their lifetime value may not be that great. But you know what? They're going to wind up creating cachet for you. They're going to wind up creating connections for you. In other words, the strategic value is going to be significant that you want to stay in the game. The other piece that you got to ask yourself is, where is this customer going to fit in terms of cost of you servicing them ongoing? We've all seen this. We've all been prospecting different customers, and you begin to realize that they are high maintenance, high need. I've had a customer like that I initially looked at and thought they had a lot of strategic value. I thought long-term value had potential. But as I began prospecting with them, I saw that their cost of servicing, their cost of working with them is going to be absolutely very difficult to deal with. So what did I do? I stepped away. I stopped prospecting on them. See, so, you see how you have to look at this in 4 different ways. And we haven't even gotten to the 5th way. It doesn't even line up to your ICP. In other words, does it fit your ideal customer profile? You may have a customer that you can service, and a customer that you've identified their need, all that sort of stuff. But if they don't line up with your ideal customer profile, no, don't spend time with them. You see, so there's really 5 things that you have to be looking at. Let's walk through these 5 again here real quick. Lifetime value. What's the lifetime value of landing this account? 2, what's the cost of customer acquisition? And I've got to understand this, and I got to understand this. And what's very interesting is, if I'm not long-term lowering my cost of customer acquisition, something's wrong with my sales process. I don't care if you're a solopreneur or with a company, but I want you to think about that. 3, what's the strategic value of this customer if they become your customer? What else can they bring to you? Can they bring you other things? Can they connect you with other people? Do they get you into an industry? Do they put you at a certain level of status or industry recognition that can leverage into some more opportunities. And final one is, how hard is it going to be? How difficult is it going to be to service the customer ongoing? Now, what does all this mean? What this means is very simply this. You have a sales prospecting cadence. I hope you do. And you're calling on customers. But I tell you what, as you motor through the process, once you get past your window of typical conversion, in other words, your window of typical conversion, what do I mean by this? In other words, it might be 14, 15, 16 contacts. It takes to get a conversation going. If you're at that point and you haven't got traction, how much further do you want to go? This is where you got to start asking yourself these questions. The lifetime value, cost of customer acquisition, all these other pieces in there. Because if they don't line up, let the prospect go. Remember, the most valuable asset you have is not what you sell. It's not your customers, it's your time. Use your time efficiently and effectively. And if you do that, it is amazing at how much more effective you are going to be. Hey, I want to say thank you so much for checking us out here today, because what is it about? The Sales Hunter podcast is all about helping you see and achieve what you didn't think was possible, so you can help your customers see and achieve what they did not think was possible. And why and how do we do this? We do this because it's 2 episodes a week. One a short one like this, single topic. Second episode each week is a longer one with a subject matter expert. Why? Because I want to see you achieve your full potential. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.